Okay, in lesson 3-4, we're going to look at parallel lines and transversals. First thing we need to do is define a transversal. And transversal is that line that cuts through the parallel line. So if you look at this tennis court, we have the two service lines, and then the transversal is that line that cuts through the two. Okay, we have different angle relationships that occur. The first one is going to be corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are those angles that are in the same position. Same position. So we want to think about the letter F. Upside down or sideways. And the corresponding angles are congruent. So looking at the first example, measure of angle 6 equals 60 degrees. Corresponding angles in the same position. Measure of angle 5 would equal 135. Same position. And the same thing goes with measure of angle 2. In the same position, they are congruent. So go ahead, pause the video, and do the checkpoint. Okay, so corresponding angles. The next one is alternate interior. So think of opposite sides of the transversal inside. So if I would shade the inside, they are then on opposite sides of the transversal. So they are also congruent. So think of those angles right there. A backwards Z. So the measure of, oops, PQR would equal 35. Measure of PQR here would equal 120. And the measure of PQR here would equal 70. Okay, so do the checkpoint, pause the video, draw your Z's or your N's. So alternate interior angles are congruent. The next type of angles are alternate exterior. So again, opposite, but this time they're outside the lines. So think above and below on opposite sides of the transversal. So looking at this example, there's your opposite outsides, So the measure of angle 2 equals 75. And then the measure of angle 1, it's a linear pair with angle 2. So it would be 105. Okay, so try those examples again. Opposite outsides. Opposite outsides. Okay, we're going to try to put this all together. Keep in mind that you have corresponding are congruent, alternate interior are congruent, alternate exterior are congruent. So I'm going to label my, or draw my outside and insides. So this is there's your inside, it's red, your outside is purple. Okay, so 1 and 8 are opposite outside, so they are congruent. 3 and 4 side by side, they create a linear pair, so they are not. 4 and 2, linear pair, not. 2 and 7 are alternate exterior, so they are congruent. 3 and 7 are in the same position on the same side. Think your letter F backwards. They are congruent. 3 and 8 have no relationship. That's one inside, one outside. So they are not. Next one are the same side interior. So on the same side of the transversal, inside, and they are supplementary. Okay, so look for the letter C. We go and look at, here we have the letter C. So they are same side interior. So measure of angle 5 plus 80 equals 180. So the measure of angle 5 equals 100. There's your backward C. So the measure of angle 6 plus 130 equals 180. It's 50. Okay, now we're going to look at algebra. So the first thing you need to do is identify type of angles. Here is same position, the letter F. So that is corresponding. So that means they are congruent. So go ahead and see if you can do the algebra relationships. Remember to identify the type of angles you have and then determine if they are congruent or supplementary. The first one is alternate interior. They are congruent, so you set them equal to each other. Second one, same side inside, so they are supplementary. So that's 76. And the next one, we have to use that property that they're all right angles right here. So then you can do alternate interior if you want, or same side interior. Either one. I'm going to do alternate interior. Alternate interior are congruent. So 2x plus 10 equals 90. So x equals 40. And that's the lesson. So again, we know that the assignment's online. And when two parallel lines are cut by transversal, what are the angle relationships? So you have corresponding angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Same side interior angles are supplementary. And this ends the lesson.